Folks just like to get out with nature. It's truly a place of peace. And there's snow peas somewhere in here. I don't know if my mission and the mission of the gardeners and all the supporters is to keep the garden going.
So I wanted to keep a journal of where I planted things, how they're doing, what's going on.
Just to come in, have a developer just take over a well-preserved, clean, maintained lot, I think that would be a horrible thing to do after all the time that's been put into it and neighborhoods and communities built around it. Yeah, there you
Elizabeth Waring is worried about the fate of the Holly Street Garden because the community doesn't own the land underneath it. And Holly Street Garden isn't the only place fighting for survival. There are hundreds of community gardens in Philly. As neighborhoods gentrify and land prices rise, developers see abandoned land as a profitable investment. Garden advocates have pushed forward initiatives at City Council to make it easier to preserve these community spaces.
Philadelphia used to be home to over 500 gardens, but over the past 25 years, we've lost a third of those gardens. Once the land is sold, we never get it back.
What you doing today, Michaela?
Waring is hoping the city moves fast enough to avoid that fate at their garden in Powelton. A beloved neighbor, Winnie Harris, created the garden at an abandoned lot in 2005. When Harris was shot to death in her home in 2017, the garden became a living memorial, which friends and neighbors hoped would carry her legacy into the future. The garden rests on 4 parcels of land. The land bank has secured 2 of these. They've transferred one to the Neighborhood Garden Trust, while the other is held up by a lawsuit. They are still working on acquiring the titles for the remaining 2 parcels. The gardeners haven't been given a timetable for when they can expect their wait to be over.
At Winnie's going home service, Councilwoman Blackwell at the time said that this spot would always be maintained as a garden and nothing else. Well, that hasn't happened yet. And that's what we really need, to get the garden secured, protected in the Neighborhood Garden Trust. And Winnie had started that process before she passed. So the sooner we can get that in, the better. Also, we could get water. We don't have water directly in the garden. We have to borrow water from the neighbors.
Gardening is ongoing learning. It's always learning. It's trial and error.
Just feels like, even though we garden and like it's already secured and it's ours and have all that input and people come together to help us, there still lurks in the back of my mind that I don't know what's going on here. It just can't end. So once it's in the Neighborhood Garden Trust, we'll be so relieved, and it should be protected forever. And when that happens, we will have a big celebration. I'm so looking forward to that. Yes.